I was just going to say the other thing which I've experienced, and I don't know, I'm going technical now. We're in a CIBSE forum, so I'm going to delve technical. And one of the things that I've seen that people aren't properly grasping actually is that when you've got background ventilation, you rely on air movement around the property as a sort of natural movement, and there are standard allowances in buildings for door undercuts and things that allow background air to move around. And then when you're talking about background ventilation, it's in terms of supply and extract, you've got that general movement around that property within the air permeability envelope, as it were. But when you're talking about overheating, maybe Susie is the expert in this far more than me, but when you're talking about overheating, you're talking about air exchanges. We're talking about actual movement of air from one space to another. What I often see is so the standard background ventilation system supplies air to bedrooms and living rooms, for example, and extracts air from the wet rooms, the kitchens and the bathrooms. If you apply that to a removal of excess heat approach, you're wholly reliant on that air transferring from that one space, that the bedroom or living room, to the space that is having the extract, for example, like the kitchen or the bathroom. You're relying on a lot of air movement between those spaces to get, match the calculation that is embedded in the dynamic modelling when we talk about air exchanges. And I think we're getting systems or specifications coming through which say this much duty for this room, when actually but then in systems being installed which don't properly respond to that air exchange factor. So I think that's one of the things that I think is maybe a ticking time bomb, when you realise that you're asking a lot of air to move what's effectively under a 10 mil door undercut sometimes. I think that you need a different approach for when you're talking about the type of air movement that we are looking at for removal of excess heat.